Greetings, dears. Did you grow in June?
Oh, yeah.
Yes. I only hope.
Because you were experiencing genetic. You should have been experiencing genetic changes. And you're going to be finding that that continues. It's a particularly good time for you to have some genetic changes. And it's important to remember that until probably November, you are going to be experiencing all kinds of energy input. This is a remarkable year. But you have to let yourself adapt to this. The energy is about what, Janine?
Change.
That works. Transcendence is what I was going for, but change works just fine. It's about enlightenment. I know that most of you have thought what this world would be like if it was a world, an enlightened society. And you know that to have an enlightened society, it does not have to be spiritual enlightenment with everybody holy. Because, of course, all enlightenment is spiritual enlightenment, and your natural state is holy, right? But what would an enlightened society look like? Now, just think about that for a moment. What would an enlightened society look like? And as you think through a couple of those things, also think about what would be required for that enlightened society to come about. You thinking about both of those? Mm-hmm. And as you think about what would be required, you will understand what you are seeing in the news these days. That process of radical change and individuals, societies, cultural reactions, not responses, reactions to it. It's not that way everywhere with everyone, however. Sometimes enlightenment comes with ease. And if you look at those situations in your life in which you are happy and secure and not functioning out of fear or frustration, I'm sure you can think of at least a couple of those, right? Then in that case, those are those areas in which the growth has been as easy as it is meant to be. Because in those cases, you are uncovering what is instead of trying to live what is not. Uncovering what is, because your natural self is not this costume. How often can I say that until you get it and get it and get it? The costume is temporary. You are eternal. You're just visiting. You are the ETs. Which is why you so often feel so foreign. So, June, how was it exceptionally memorable for you?
Well, I decided to do something I've always wanted to do.
Have you?
Yeah, for a while. I mean, one is to get in better physical shape and to be more athletic, because I always put myself in a box that said not an athlete. So now I'm just going full tilt.
I'll say.
Yeah, so I'm training for a mini triathlon. So.
And triathlon is...
Swimming, biking, and running.
Ooh.
I know. Yeah. Yeah, it's a process, so it's actually fun. There's a lot of people involved, and I've made some good connections, and it's been an opportunity for me to see where my excuses and my insecurities come up, and how not to let that get in the way, because if it, I can't. I have a deadline I have to meet, so I have a race I have to do, so I can't afford to let that get in the way of my vision at the time, so for now.
Just a moment. That was filled with important learning, wisdom there. Tell me something that she said that was something worth remembering. Hi.
She has a goal in mind, that would be her deadline or her race coming up. With that in mind, she can't afford to let herself fall into excuses and pretty much take her eyes off the goal and do what needs to happen to get there.
So, giving yourself a deadline in which to meet your goals is going to make a big difference in your ability to meet your goals.
Surrounding yourself with people on the similar journey makes
Good.
the process much more enjoyable and sustainable.
Very good, very good.
She has a vision of where she wants to be.
Yes, excellent, excellent. A vision, a deadline, and being surrounded by cheerleaders, mentors, those doing it with you. All of that makes a big difference. A big difference. Good work. All right, it's going to be hard to go beyond that one, but for those who have normal aspirations, all right? Let's do it again.
The last couple weeks of the month, anyway, I've had such amazing dreams, very consistent. I'm not a person who remembers a lot of my dreams, but these have been dream school dreams, time travel dreams, dimensional dreams. It's been amazing. And every day, every night I go to bed and wonder, what it's going to be tonight. So it's been great.
Very nice, very nice. Anybody else finding that their dreams have been pretty interesting lately? Aye, good. Lilybeth, then Mary Claire.
Two things. One, I had the opportunity to really see how so much work over so many years of working with a personal relationship has really moved it into a really good space.
Good.
And you had said that June was going to magnify. And so all these good things are happening with it. So it was nice to know that we were in the right place with it, because it definitely amplified it. Just kept moving it up more notches all the time.
Good.
So that was really very nice to see. And like Kathy, I have a project that I'm working on, and I've done a lot of what you're talking about, which have the vision, have the deadline. And for me, it was also to very much set my boundaries with distractions, because that's so easy to get off course. And so I was just saying no to things, and then other people were cheering me on with it, and that was to get this illustration website up and going. So it's about 90% done.
Good work.
I'm working on rebuilding myself on bunches of levels. And one of them, like Kathy, the physical, because I've made it a goal too, that I can't get out of. That involves like 150 steps to get to my room in Guatemala. I do that on purpose. The highest room possible, because I want to get strong physically, but I also am working on strength in all kinds of areas and looking at changes and what's dysfunctional and what needs to change and all the things that come together for that. It's kind of, some of it is kind of not scary, but just, I'm not real sure, but I'm really good with it. And I know that the time has come for these different changes in my life. And it's really great. And I see at the same time, though, I see all the things that are right. That like Kim is such a supportive, loving husband, and that is just so right. And friends that are so loving and supporting, and that is so right. And to not only just look at the uncertainties, but also the things that are just so right. That helps me go through all those changes. But I feel really good about it. I feel like I can just really get to the core of my strength now. I really do. So.
And remember sympathetic magic. That what you do on the outside is going to be reflected on the inside. What you're doing on the inside is going to be reflected on the outside. Working for outer strength is going to bring about inner strength, because the same things that you need to make one happen are also the things you need to make the other happen. So it creates a sympathetic force and adds to what you're doing. Good work, Bunny.
With Vernon being ill this whole month of June practically, I've kind of been in the caretaking mood for a long time and thinking I could do it all, mighty Mo. I could do it all. And over this month, I finally learned I have to let go of certain things.
Good.
And accept help. And that's been a hard one.
It is a hard one, isn't it? Good for you. Good for you.
I think what I've realized is this dichotomy that I create between, I have a physical self and I have an emotional self and I have a spiritual self. Watching my cancer numbers go down has been a real surprise to me. And so it's been making me...
Which should also surprise you, that it surprises you.
Yes. And so I've been able to look at that and say, well, okay, why? And to understand that it has more to do with what I'm doing and what people around me are doing and the energy and the love and the support than the cancer and the chemo.
Yes.
And so that's been,
Yes.
Even as sick as I've been, it's just been a miracle for me.
Aye.
At last.
Keep up the good work. And keep up the good work. Aye.
Last month, June, has been a month filled with joy and love. And
Good.
First of all, with a dance weekend that was just totally joyful, and then friends staying over who was just again, joy and love abounding, and then enough time to pack to go and visit my son and daughter-in-law and grandbaby, and joy and service combined. When I had time to reflect, when I didn't have much time to reflect, when I had time to reflect, I thought, okay, this is what I'm reaping from what I have sown. And I'm so grateful I have lived this long and had this kind of life to be where I am now.
Nice. Very nice. And that's true in both a literal and a figurative sense, isn't it? You really are reaping what you have sown in your son. And you are reaping what you have sown as well in putting out love, putting out patience, putting out kindness, giving of yourself. And those are good things. Hi.
You've talked to me about it for many years, and I have thought I understood it for many, many years. But at last, recently, I understood what it means to be still. Even when I used to rest previously, I always used to be plagued by, my body would be revved up to do stuff, even though I'm sitting still, I wouldn't be still. And I would think, oh, that was good enough, because I had to plan, I had to do all these things. And the course of this past month, I too had several very interesting dreams that turned things around internally. I don't even know what those are, but I found myself in places where I was truly still. I was everything, and I was nothing, and I was just still.
Lovely.
And it happens once a while. It's not my state yet, but it's easier for me to see when I'm not in that state. When I'm doing, yes, fine, but even when I'm trying to rest and be still, I realize that I can go back to it.
Good.
And it's been a huge gift to see life very differently and to redefine my choices of how I look at life. And I'm still struggling with integrating my human self and my spiritual self, but
You're not struggling. You're just working at it.
yes, I'm still working at it. But I have found this point of this place I can go to not want to have the answers, but to know that I have the answers.
Well said. Well said. And since that is sort of the other side of Kathy's version of becoming more active, let me use that as well. Tell me a few things you learned from that wisdom-filled statement of Lakshmi's. And now the group says, oh, was I supposed to be taking notes?
Well, that being quiet isn't being still, and there's a deeper level to it.
Very good, very good. Just because you're quiet doesn't mean you're being still. But being still will mean you are quieter. Not necessarily quiet, but quieter. Megan.
I find that when I'm still, my heart has a chance to talk to me.
Yes, yes. And that is why being still is so important. And it brings about so much change in your life. But in this society, that is very strongly resisted. In fact, most of you learn to multitask very early on. And being still actually makes you feel guilty. Because being still isn't productive. Which, of course, is only accurate if all you are is human. If all you are is what you're putting out on the outside, then you're absolutely right. You're only productive when you are doing. But if there is more to you, there is. If there is more to you, then what it needs is on the inside. And that means giving yourself the opportunity to learn to hear that voice. If you can feel fearful, and if you can feel guilty, then you are capable of hearing an inner voice. I just want you to change neighborhoods so that that inner voice is the one that says, be fed by love. Let your spirit rule. Something that I have been advocating particularly over the last couple of months, and will continue to do so over the next couple of months while you are receiving so much energetic help, is giving yourself time to stop doing. That's step one. Just time to stop doing. Think about whatever you want. Just sit while you're doing that. Or lie down while you're doing that. Step two. Learn to quiet your mind. Turn off the chatter. The easiest way to do that is by paying attention to your breath. You breathe in, you breathe out. You breathe in, you breathe out. Here is one breath. Two. You just breathe in and breathe out. Third thing that you do, you close your eyes, you allow yourself to see whatever it is you're going to see with your eyes closed. You're going to see darkness. Now let yourself see what else you see. Now, the lights have been bright here, and so you're going to have a lot of after images. But go ahead and give that a try. Just close your eyes. And this is just to see what you can see stuff. Close your eyes and see that darkness. All of a sudden, it's not as light as it was when your eyes were open. No big deal. Now, your body has unique chemicals in it. And those chemicals stimulate in your brain those particular cells that tell you you are seeing density, shape, coloration. Do you see any of that? When you see either a darker shade of dark or a color or a shape, any of the above, focus a little on that. Now, that's enough. I just want you to see that what you're doing there is a very powerful experiment because you are turning off the rest of your mind for a few moments and allowing yourself to focus within. That simple. That simple. Just focus within. You can do that with what you hear or what you smell. Or you can hold something in your hands and feel it. But what you're doing is you are directing your focus. And as you direct that focus, your body relaxes. And when your body relaxes, your mind begins to relax. And those few moments give you rest. And as you learn to extend those moments into minutes, and extend those minutes to that place where you can put yourself into that mindset quickly and easily, you will find that you are giving yourself miniature vacations in the mind. And the benefit of those miniature vacations is your shields go down. Your human shields go down. And your spiritual receptors that are always there become more capable of receiving. Because although you are always receiving, there is too often a part of you that's holding back all of it. So eliminating the greatest part of that resistance changes you. For another 16, 20 days, something like that, not quite 3 weeks, you're going to be very receptive, whether you wish to be or not. Now that's a good thing and a bad thing, being very receptive. Because it means that you're going to be very capable of experiencing the energy that's coming through to the planet right now, but it also can mean you are very receptive to manipulation, or irritation, or any of the distractions that come into your everyday life. It's a time in which you're going to need focus. Not focusing on being receptive, but focusing on allowing what you need to be there. If you focus on being receptive, then essentially you are focusing on the belief that you are not receptive. Do you understand how that works? I am so receptive. That's a good positive statement. But it's a statement of duality, is what it is. You are essentially saying, because I have always been unreceptive, so now I am receptive, and that is different than what I have been. Be. And it is enough. That reception is coming 2 particular ways, and one of them is through Vasta Helios, the spirit energy behind your star, the sun. Vasta Helios is what I will always say. You think big ball light in sky. Vasta Helios puts forth energetic emissions that have an effect of staving off cosmic energy, gamma energy, coming into your world. Solar winds disrupt the energy from coming in, like blowing out a candle. There it goes. That does, however, catch your soul quick. It's running off.
I got it.
All right, Suzanne has saved you now. It is a very odd thing you say, you know. You ask God to bless someone only when they sneeze. You say, Gesundheit, catch your soul. It's part of that mindlessness that language provides. You don't think about what you're saying, but your brain is listening to it. So instead, I'll just say, cover up your mouth when you do that. I don't think that'll win you friends out in the world, though, will it? But you are also in receipt of a very large amount of cosmic energy right now. So when the sun is flaring, and for 4 days after that, you are receiving energy from Vesta Helios. But when that settles down, and it is settling down, you are receiving that cosmic energy. It is not usually the case that you are getting such outpouring of both. This is unusual insofar as your space weather would be concerned. It is not unusual insofar as the help that has been promised to you, to your planet, to the plan at this time. You want to be accepting of that. Open. But what's the warning that goes with being open?
Open that your brains fall out.
That's the one. Be open, but not so open your brains fall out. Be open to what it has to offer. And over the next few weeks, what it's going to be offering is a lowering of what you see as a masculine energy and a raising of what you see as feminine energy in your world right now, which, as hopefully you know by now, is exactly the kind of rebalancing that is needed. Now, remind me, please, when I talk about what you call masculine and feminine energies, remind me what those are. Let's start with masculine energies. Well, I'll start. I'll start by saying the first part to remember is that there is no such thing as masculine and feminine energy. There is only energy that you have learned to label masculine and feminine, because you live in a world of this and that, of dichotomy, of separation. So based upon the cultural standards that put labels on everything, including energy, what are the aspects that are thought of as masculine energy? Just say. Action, good. Power, yes. Outward power, we'll say. Projection, yes. Intellect, as opposed to intuitive, perhaps, yes. Left brain, all right. Protecting. Issues of form, as opposed to issues of spirit. What do you think of as feminine aspects? Intuitive, nurturing, compassionate, creative, right brain. Again. Pure power, internal power. If masculine energy is power over, feminine energy is power of. It is love in its unconditional form, as opposed to love in a focused and specific form. Masculine and feminine energy, never forget, it's an illusion. But it's an illusion that has been so strongly bought into that it is a thing in your world. And your world is all about extremes. So there is the internal mechanism and the external mechanism. You are going to be experiencing a focus in your world of the internal mechanism. But just like all right, I'll use it. Yellow Volkswagens. When you think about it, suddenly you see it everywhere. So when you think about the idea of a dichotomized world, you see everything in those kind of issues. What you want to work to do over these next few weeks is find a balance point. See the masculine that resides within the feminine. See the feminine that resides within the masculine. And this is not about gender, remember. Because the more you are able to see how they intermingle, how they are simply aspects of the same, then the more readily and capable you will be of experiencing the wholeness rather than that dichotomy. Feminine force often shows itself up as, in this culture, let me change that, in many of your world cultures, as quiet over active. We spoke a little earlier of the importance of quiet. I would like to remind you that spiritual quiet is not the same as not taking action. It's not the same as not taking action. It is not the same as not taking action. Being inactive, not doing. Because this is a time of action. I have been, just in case you haven't noticed, turning things pretty much upside down. I like to do that. It's very healthy. Because it is a revolution. Because it's so easy to fall into ruts. To do instead of act. Do you know what I mean by that? To simply do instead of choosing to act. Now, it is true. Sometimes all you can do is just act through your routines and get through it and be proud of yourself for doing that. But if you're living that way, that's not going to work. And you are going to be seeing over these next 3 weeks those things that are keeping you from right action in your life and in this world. Bunny.
I'm trying to simplify that in my mind. If I could say it this way, would this be correct? I'm taking the action of being.
I like that.
Is that workable?
You made your own bumper sticker. I like that.
Choosing, you're putting action into being.
I like that.
Those things leading to more work on core issues?
Was that a complete statement?
That was kind of a question. Meaning that those things that we'll see that keep us from doing right action would be our core issues related to? Or?
Right action related to your core issues, you are saying? You will see those things that are keeping you from completing core issues?
Or from taking right action.
Yes.
Of fulfilling one's callings or services.
Which will say these must be core issues, because these are the things keeping me from taking right action.
So we'll be looking at our core issues again next week.
Well, yes and no. Remember, you don't have core issues now, do you? Because you have been working since last September to get over them, right? So you don't have core issues now, right? But maybe if there is a little bit of energetic resonance left over from something that hasn't quite, sort of like that last little smear stuck between the tread of your shoes when you walked through the cow field. Just that little bit of resonance that's left. Yes. But what you want to look at, what you want to focus on is not, ooh, this is showing me the muck. You want to look at what is the action I could be taking to best shift from this situation. Focus on what is working.
Can I do that through a meditation?
Yes. In fact, it's probably going to be the easiest way.
On a daily basis?
Absolutely. In fact, some of you may find that giving yourself that time more than once a day is going to be helpful. And let me give you a quick meditation, actually more of a visualization, to help you focus that quiet. You will find that what works best for you may not be what works best for the person right next to you. And what I'm suggesting may not be the thing that works most easily for you. But give it a try a couple of times before you give up on it. I want you to start simply by taking a couple of deep breaths and imagining that whatever you don't need is draining out through the bottom of your feet. Just let it drain out. And just keep breathing until you find your breath is regulating. I will warn you, if you're not getting enough sleep, this will make you fall asleep. Use that as information. Maybe I need to sleep better than I am. Because you want to be focused, not sleepy. I want you to imagine that you're sitting under a tree on a beautiful green hill. It's warm out, the sky is blue, and yet the sylphs are playing with you just a little, giving you enough nice breeze that you are comfortable. And allow yourself to think about what you're feeling. I'm sitting under this tree. I am relaxed. I can feel the strength of the tree against my back. I feel the slight breeze keeping me comfortable. I feel the warmth of the sun. What you're doing at this point is focusing your brain out of the multitude of voices and into your singular experience. Now, at that point, I want you to think like a 10-year-old or a 5-year-old, whatever works best for you. Put on your creative mind. And I want you to imagine that while you are sitting under that tree in that beautiful place, a little creature comes up to you. Or maybe it's not a little creature, maybe it's a large creature. Is it a dog? Is it a dragon? Is it a little bird? Is it a wolf? Is it a bear? And allow yourself to befriend it. And once you've done that, ask it, what can I learn from you? See if it talks back to you. Thank it and return. Now, do that easy visualization every day for 5 days, and you will find by the end of those 5 days, if it did not happen on the first day, because some of you get it very quickly, you will find that you start receiving conversational wisdom. The wolf starts talking to you, maybe telepathically. This is an active meditation. It's actually very simple and very kindergarten for many of you. But I want you to remember that sometimes moving back to those basics allows you to open up, because you're not trying to do something new. You're not trying to get something right. This isn't hard. Always remember to thank it as your signal that you're saying goodbye. If you find you pretty quickly can get a conversation going, or maybe I should say, when you find you are able to get a conversation going, at that point, the next time you go to that place, call that creature. Oh, but Samael, every time I go, I get a different one. You're not helping this cause. That's not going to help. Yes, you have on your 5-year-old, 10-year-old's head, very creative, very good. Don't let the whole zoo come to you. Because they want to. Me now, my turn, me. Pick one. Stick with it. Ask it questions. Now, it doesn't matter to me if you want to say, this is a totem animal coming to speak with me, or if you want to say, this is my higher self using this as a means to channel information to myself. It doesn't matter. What you are doing is training your mind, allowing yourself to receive, giving yourself a way to open the door and receive. You are also going to be calming and relaxing yourself long enough to allow your body to function in a healing process. When you are starting to get ill, let's say you have a fever going, does your body just get all excited and revved up and ready to run out and run around the track a few times? Not likely. In all likelihood, when your body is in healing mode, you just want to rest. Guess why? Because when you are resting, particularly when you are sleeping, and you've turned the chatter off, then your body is better able to make do with your natural healing focus. And it's better able to make use of that healing energy coming your way. No different. No different when it is allowing your mind to rest so that what you are can be heard. Because the chatter of who you are has been quieted. This is also going to be a time in which you see what things need to be forgiven in order for you to move forward. And that's a good thing. It's going to be a time in which you are aware of what you need. That's been a very big thing over these last few months. But it's been coming by way of showing you what you do not need. But this energy has a lot more to do with showing you what you do need. Pay attention. And beware. You think I should back off a little? Am I being a little intense? Is that it? Why would I say be careful? This isn't hard.
Well, you're going to get information and you'll be responsible on some levels for it.
That's true. That's the awful part about wisdom. You become responsible for it.
So you might get something you need, da-da-da-da, and you go, oh, no, I don't. I mean, all the justifications and excuses because that need could be inconvenient for your life.
Very true. Very true.
There have been times when I am trying to sit quietly and clear my mind and just relax and everything. And I start seeing a series of faces, male, female, just a series of face after face after face after face. And it becomes a distraction. I have to open my eyes and clear my thoughts.
Then try doing it with your eyes open.
Is that just a trick of the brain?
No.
It is.
Essentially, it's your inability to focus because you're touching into your greater self and your entity is showing you your personalities through its projections, but you want to focus. You can go off there. You can go way off there. That's not what you're trying to do, though. That becomes a distraction. So, what do you need? Can also be dangerous because you may not like what you find you need. As Suzanne was saying, I don't have time for this. I don't. And all of the justifications and excuses for keeping things exactly as they are start showing up. You may find that what you need are things you know are not good for you. Or you may find that what you need are things you know are good for you, but they'll interfere with your life.
How would we find things that we needed that were not good for us?
You may find that you need a glass of wine to relax.
Oh,
And you don't.
right.
You may find that you need to eat these snacks because you want to.
Those are real.
Those are real things. Yes. It's pretty easy.
I used to think I needed my chocolate every day, coming from the country where we make them. But lately, my food choice has changed, and I hardly eat chocolate now, and I don't miss it.
And that's one of the very best ways to move out of an unhealthy habit. Now, keep moderation in mind, and that is when it is a natural occurrence because your life has changed. Because that says you're not functioning out of habit. You're functioning out of choice. And that's huge. Huge. Nah, can't do it. I tried.
So are you saying when we get this stuff, get this information, we still need to use discernment about, okay, I need 3 tons of chocolate a day, a case of wine every week, that kind of stuff. I'm exaggerating for effect.
So
Then
was
can
I.
say, yeah, okay. Then I can say, thank you very much. Let's give me another choice.
Bonnie said a moment ago, as a joke, yes, but those are real gates, as opposed to the fake gates, the wants of the personality, as opposed to the wants of the spirit.
So be aware that which are which.
Yes.
Okay.
Very good, yes. But I'm also going to remind you that you should be seeing it as what you want from a spiritual framework. And one of the things that means is you're going to find yourself either internally or externally called on your spiritual belief systems. Now, I think that I'm using that right when I say call you on something. That means trigger an awareness, bring it forward. Yes?
Yes.
All right. And that's probably going to show up in ways that are non-spiritual, as if anything is not spiritual, because of course everything is, as well. Meaning, to put a positive spin on it, you're going to become very aware of truth in your life. What is your truth? Are you able to live with your truth as your truth? If not, why not? What needs to change? The your part or the truth part? What is your truth? What do you need to live your truth? And one of the biggest versions of it is your truth right for you? May have been once, may not be now. This is a time of transcendent energy. It's pure power. As an internal focus. What are you going to do with this power this time? How are you going to change your life knowing that changing your life changes this world? Are you going to have a better world because of what you are doing? How many ways can you live your truth? And I'm going to give you a very big hint here. Your truth is all about how much you believe in love. Love as the way shower. Love as the focus of renewal. Love as the power of change. Unconditional and of source. Your ability to love. How you define it. How you receive it, how you give it, is going to be the foundation of the awareness, the change, the strength, the truth that these next few weeks show you. Your ability to come to that place in which you can hear what you need and how you need it is vital. Pay attention to your reactions. Pay attention to how you see you. Be good to you. Be gentle with you. But do not give yourself excuses. Set that goal. The timeline is already there. By the 22nd, you will know what you need. And so will the world around you. So it will be very interesting to see if the old paradigm of outward power wins. The more you model inner power, the more the world changes toward that feminine model. And that is the energy now. Should be a very interesting month. Enjoy. Loch in nummer